Hello, welcome to our very first youth forum. My name is Sima Mundakal and I work for the Zero Project. And before we kick off with the youth forum, I would like to say a few words of explanation and thanks. And first, I'll start with the explanation why we are here today. So if you're looking at inclusive education, which is our topic this year, you cannot do anything without including those who are being educated, and that is youth. So to provide credibility to our discussions and getting you all here was neither a short or an easy process, but with the support of our partners who are sitting with us here today, here we are, but only after a month-long process. Because an organization like us doesn't really have much experience in this particular area, so our partners have played a vital role in ensuring the success of this venture. Their absolutely essential input has ranged from helping select the ideas for the course of the conference where youth was involved and issues we will be discussing today to getting you here today. So with my and our thanks, I should like to hand over to Dominic and Faye, who will take things from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sima, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming to the first Youth Forum at the Zero Project Conference. My name is Dominic Regester, and together with my colleague Faye Hobson, we're delighted to be co-chairing the Youth Forum. We both work for an organization called Salzburg Global Seminar, which is an independent, not-for-profit think tank based in Salzburg in Austria. And our core mission as an organization is to challenge current and future leaders to shape a better world. And we try to do this, we try to advance societal progress through what we call strategic convening. So once we have a problem or an issue or a challenge that we would like to focus on, we will research what would be the optimum group of people to bring together who could share insight and experience and practice on that given problem, and also talk quite candidly about the challenges that they face in getting traction around change and making progress. And we will design a program that lets them share that and then looks at how we can build alliances or build new movements and how we can develop joint advocacy work to try and make societal progress. And we do this on a wide range of different topics over the course of a year. We do about 35 programs a year, looking at issues like financial regulation or the evolution of philanthropy or healthcare and patient safety, urbanization and conservation, and a wide range of other programs. And Faye and I work together on the education work. And over the last couple of years, our education work has focused on two different strands of inclusive practice and policy. And I'd like to claim chair's privilege and just take a couple of minutes of your time to share some of the work that we've been doing and some of the advocacy ideas that we've been able to take forward. So the two strands of our education work over the last couple of years have been around multilingual or plurilingual policy making and arguing for more inclusive societies from a linguistic point of view, and also through social and emotional learning. On the language side, in December 2017, we convened a language program that brought together a group of experts, advocates, Ministry of Education officials, UN agencies, development banks, all sorts of other stakeholders who had first-hand experience of arguing for the importance of multilingual society. One of the outcomes from the program was a statement, an advocacy statement on the importance and value of multilingual or plurilingual communities. And we published that statement exactly 2 years ago today, because today is International Mother Language Day, which is one of the big UN international days in the calendar. When we published the statement, we published it in about 65 different languages at the same time. And it had real traction, I think, by virtue of publishing it on this day in particular, and we were able to partner with a number of other organizations. And the statement was shared or downloaded almost 2 million times in the first month that it was published, and it continues to be used in a wide variety of different contexts. It's been presented in parliaments around the world, it's featured in university courses, it's been part of a number of language textbooks as an example of successful advocacy. My colleague Faye will come round in a minute with copies of the statement for you if you're interested. They're all available, all of the statements that we produce are available to download from the Salzburg Global website. The other area of our inclusive education work over the last couple of years has been around social and emotional learning and the development of social and emotional skills and competencies. These are sometimes referred to as soft skills or 21st century skills, and they're essentially skills that let all people, to help all people to manage their emotions, to work well with other people, and to achieve their goals. And we believe, and all of our partners believe, that they're crucial for the well-being and success of every child and adult, and for the future of all of our societies and economies. And what we've tried to do with our advocacy work around social and emotional learning is look at a number of different arguments for SEL and why we see social and emotional learning as such a crucial part of the solution to so many of the challenges that societies around the world are facing. So there is a really close correlation between the kinds of skills and competencies that all sorts of economic analysis are saying are absolutely essential for the jobs in the economies of tomorrow, to help us do the kinds of jobs that won't be automated in the near future or taken over by computers. The social and emotional learning skills and competencies, like empathy, like a sense of compassion, like creativity, like critical thinking, are the kinds of skills that computers and algorithms are not yet able to do, and so are an essential part of what define us as being human. There is also a very strong correlation between social and emotional learning and well-being and psychosocial support interventions. Social and emotional learning programs help young people or adults feel better about who they are, about their own sense of identity and their place in the world and the value that they can add. And put bluntly, if you feel better about yourself and your environment, you will learn better. And there is all sorts of cognitive research now that shows how happiness when learning helps academic retention or helps cognitive retention. So what we've tried to do with the SEL work over 7 programs now is try to build a much more connected community of educators around the world who are all looking to implement social and emotional learning programs and have different kinds of insight as to what works in their context. And how the advocacy arguments that have worked for them, whether they're talking to education ministry officials, whether they're talking to local community leaders or religious leaders, or whether they're working with parent groups on curriculum reform or school management, or a wide variety of different issues. The fundamental reason that we're engaged in all of this work, and I think why Zero Project wanted to have inclusive education as the theme for this year's conference, is I think really beautifully summed up by this quote from the German philosopher Hannah Arendt, which is without doubt my favorite quote about education that I've ever come across. So education is the point at which we decide whether we love the world enough to assume responsibility for it. And I think all of us who are working to build more inclusive education practices, this statement would resonate with all of us who are working in that field. The final thing I wanted to share with you before I hand over to the youth advocates to talk about their projects, is one of the initiatives that has helped grow out, that has grown out of some of the work that we've been doing in Salzburg. And this is a new global alliance for social emotional learning and life skills called Karanga. Karanga is a Maori word from New Zealand, and it means a call to welcome. And what we wanted with this new alliance was to have a name that wasn't in English and wasn't an acronym, but also embodied the spirit of what we're trying to do with this alliance. So I would invite you all, when you have time, to go onto the Karanga website and sign up to join the movement and join the alliance and become part of it, because the alliance now has about 4,000 members. We only started towards the end of last year. It's growing very rapidly, and we would welcome all of you and your expertise and experience and insight to join the movement and help contribute to it. That was all I wanted to say from Salzburg Global's point of view. What I'm now going to do is hand over to the youth advocates. We've got 6 fantastic presentations this morning. 5 of the groups are with us in the room, and 1 group is joining remotely. The 5th presentation will be joining remotely. The first 3 groups are all up on stage, and after each of them has presented, there'll be time, a couple of minutes, for questions from each of you. So if you're thinking of questions, you can put them to the presenters immediately after they have finished their presentations. After we've done the first 3 groups, there'll be a couple of minutes interlude while we change teams and the second set of presenters come on up. But without further ado, it gives me enormous pleasure to hand over to Marianne and Marijeta from the European Network for Independent Living. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this lovely introduction. I'm Marijeta, coming from Montenegro, and I'm a member of Youth Board of European Network on Independent Living. A European Network on Independent Living is an organization from Brussels, based in Brussels. Premises are there, but we are everywhere. It's pan-European organization, so we live in our countries or we live in other countries, but we have the same philosophy of independent living. European Network on Independent Living is a forum for independent living organizations and allies. We promote independent living of young people with disabilities, promoting services for young people with disabilities, especially personal assistance, as a service which is not yet covered in all of the Europe. Our approach is cross-disability approach, so we don't gather people that are just one type of disability, but cross-disability, so different types of disabilities. We're proud that in October last year we had the chance to mark our 30th anniversary, and that was done during the Freedom Drive, which is the event we are promoting today, because that's our project. I will hand it over to Marianne to talk about that a bit.
Yes, this is, I can say my name first, Marianne. I'm from Norway. I'm also representing ENIL, and this is Dr. Adolf Ratzka. He is one of the grounders of the independent living ideology about having the opportunity to live a life with freedom and equal rights. Like independent living is having same range of options and same degree of self-determination that people without a disability takes for granted.
I will tell you a bit about ENIL Youth Network because I'm currently a member of it. The Youth Network was established in October 2012 following the first ENIL study session, which was held in Strasbourg. In 2015, those present at the Freedom Drive event, which is held every 2 years, now in Brussels, then it was in Strasbourg, I think, agreed that the youth network should formally exist and adopted a draft constitution on how the network should work. ENIL works to encourage and support the involvement of young disabled people in advocating for human rights in their countries at the European level. So this is a photo from last year's Freedom Drive, which was 9th. So it was first time held in 2003, and it was it was done by the principle which we do every freedom drive. So we promote independent living of persons with disabilities. We are meeting members of Parliament, of European Parliament, and talk about different issues because those are members from different countries, and our members are for different countries. So we somehow lobby. We try to lobby, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. I will hand it over to Marianne to give her impressions on the last year's Freedom Drive.
Yes, I will talk a bit about why a march like Freedom Drive is so important. Because we need to grow our voices for people with disabilities, and this is like an excellent way to demonstrate and to fight for our rights. For example, today I have the right to personal assistant in Norway, and for me that meant that was my way out of institution and to living a normal, exciting, boring life, and that gives me freedom. Being able to move whenever and where you want, that is freedom. And going to the university and studying and being able to take education. And being welcome and able to go in the same entrance when you're eating dinner with your friends and your family. That is also freedom. Freedom to being who you are. Today there are so many labels attached to people with disabilities that you are less competent, less worthy, a burden, sad, and the list goes on. And it's so important to have this voice against discrimination because many disabled today don't have the freedom that many could take for granted. So when you never had freedom, it's difficult to know what freedom is. And if you deserve it. So that is one of the most important reasons that we have this march, that we do this freedom drive. Because today discrimination happens so often that we almost think that it's normal. Normal to go in different schools, normal to do different transport. And we use all of these arguments like it's expensive or it's difficult, but equality is expensive. It has always been expensive. So this march is a way to demonstrate, because today we're all trying to push all people into this box, and when we're actually living in a kind of complex diversity, all of us, and disability is a part of that diversity. So we need to fight for our rights and be a strong voice against discrimination, and we need a place to talk about human rights, and a place to fight for these rights. So Freedom Drive is like our place to fight for our rights. And it's really, really important to have this strong movement together. So this march is amazing because all over Europe people come. I don't know how many it was, but it's larger and larger for every year.
It was around 300. More than 300 people from all over Europe, including guests from Australia and Japan last year. So it was kind of special, and we will talk about it when we are going to talk about Youth Network meeting and impressions about that. And it is now. So are you going to share your impressions first or me?
You can start if you want.
Okay, so this was the ENIL Youth Network meeting, and we were actually sitting and talking about the situation of young people with disabilities in countries from where people that were present are coming. And for me, coming from Europe, and Marianne too, and it was really interesting to hear the experience from young people coming from Japan. It was the strongest impression because you have heard or you have been to Japan and you know that's totally accessible, public transport. They don't have issues about sidewalks or, things that usually people from our countries or countries from Europe, which level of accessibility is totally different, are having, but they have prejudices and stereotypes, and we were talking about that. I mentioned that on Monday. I will mention it now too because it's kind of important for me. Prejudices and stereotypes do not need a passport to cross the border. They are present everywhere, even in Japan. And they were telling us about their system of schooling and accessible, but they still have special schools there. So it was the main topic that we were talking about during this meeting, and the strongest point that institution is not solution. That's one of the main mottos of ENIL as an organization that's working at European level. So these are some photos from last year's event. Next event, next Freedom Drive, will be held in Brussels, I think in the end of September 2021 or the beginning of October. We will know that for sure next year. And me and Marianne would like to call you to join us during that event if you have a chance, any chance, to contact us using our official website or email address, whatever. Before putting, showing our video, do you want to give something, to say something more?
No, I think you said most of it, but it's just like this when we have like March like this and this networking meeting, we just see any more clear that this is a global fight for equality and that it doesn't matter where you are from. It's a global fight that we need to do together. Yeah, and then we will show a video from the march.
Just to part of that energy.
Yes.
Here. Okay, that would be it.
Great.
I think.
Thank you very much
you.
to Marianne and Marijeta. And there's a really clear call to action to all of us to be involved in the Freedom Drive and support the next gathering like that. Does anyone have any questions for Marianne or Marijeta? If you're at a mic, yes, one at the back, Alan.
Oh, hi, my name's Alan Holdsworth. I'm living in Philadelphia now. I think one of the biggest problems in America facing independent living is affordable, accessible, integrated housing. I was wondering whether that's the same in the countries that you're working in.
Me neither. I have troubles to hear.
One of the challenges in the US is around affordable and accessible housing. And is that the same in Europe?
Oh yes, yes. In almost all countries in Europe, accessible housing is a problem. Yeah, I think that we all have similar problems with less or more opportunities to solve it. Maybe we can. Well, maybe we have to be united in this, even we are not in the same continent. Yes.
Great, thank you, Anna. Any more questions for Marianne and Marijeta? Amazing. Thank you both very much indeed.
Thank you.
So, thank you both for that amazing presentation. As Dominic mentioned, my name is Faye Hobson. I also work at Salzburg Global Seminar and have the absolute pleasure of helping to co-chair this session. I'm really looking forward to hearing from our next two youth advocates who are here representing the Learning for Wellbeing Foundation, and the Act Together project is what they're going to present on. So over to you, Edvina and Konstantinos.
How do we change the slide?
Well, hello, I'm Edvina.
Hi, I'm Konstantinos.
We're here representing the Learning for Wellbeing Foundation, and we work with Europe, Middle East, and Latin America as well.
And we are here to present Act Together and how it's linked to social inclusion generally and inclusion in education, but also generally about partnership between children and adults. So, in reality, what motivates us to do this work? I think all of us are motivated by the transformative power of children. We've all seen the example of, we can call them celebrity activists in a way. Greta Thunberg in Sweden has gained massive popularity across the world for her work in climate change. The Parkland students in the US have been very famous against gun violence protests. Also, Malala in Pakistan has been very prominent in the media for women impression. And they've all acted so much, have done so much, that even change has happened from their work. But Act Together is also about the millions of children out there who are advocating for human rights, but in certain cases, they're not heard, and even they're silenced. So Act Together is also about raising the voice of these children. Learn for Wellbeing and Act Together also uses 4 perspectives to look at the whole world, having a holistic approach. And Edvina here will explain those approaches.
So as he said, we look at 4 things with every problem that we're facing. First being the head, so how we feel about it, how we think about it in a sense. Heart, the emotions that are connecting to that. The hands, so physically what we can actually do. And spirit, which is all of it together connected to one place.
Also, another key idea we have in our work is something called unique potential. We acknowledge that all humans are unique in their own way, and each one of us are unique in what we can do and what we can achieve. And Learning for Wellbeing and Act Together is very prominent on achieving that unique potential of every person, whether they have a disability, whether they come from a country, it doesn't matter. We're all unique, we're all different.
I think you can move another slide.
Sorry?
You can move another slide. As Konstantinos mentioned, our main focus is bringing all of the people to work together, and not just children and adults, or not just adults listening to children, but both of them working together, working actually together, not for, but with. And that's what we're trying to do. So bring different generations together. You can move another slide. Okay, you can.
So we would like to ask a question to the people here. Out of the adults in the room, can you raise your hands, those that feel heard by children? They feel that children hear them and truly understand what they're saying. Can you raise your hand, please? Okay, so now we would like to ask the same thing to the children in the room, the young people in the room. How many of you do you feel heard by the adults generally? I think there are certainly people that do not feel heard. And that's actually what we are working in Act Together. As you can see from our logo, and as Edvina mentioned, it's about connecting generations. It's about working together. In reality, if you ask me what is Act Together, it's a simple idea. It's partnership between generations for a fair and sustainable world. When we speak about child participation, we mainly focus on the child side, how they can raise their voice, what can we do to raise their voice. But we never speak about what can happen with adults instead of for children only. It's about partnership. Democracy is about working together, not being one-sided.
And what he mentioned, and all of us working together, is something that can be used in all environments. And this is what we try to represent here. So if we're talking about governments or education or health or sports or justice or business, whatever we're doing, we always say that we should include everyone. And what does that mean for inclusive education? For us, somebody at the opening of this conference said it takes a village to raise a child. And we agree completely with that. Whatever child you're dealing with, whatever human being you're dealing with, everybody who's around him and whoever that's about is influenced by that, and you should be listening to them as well. So what Act Together is, it means whatever problem we're facing, whatever is happening to anyone, we should be listening to everyone who that subject is about.
So Act Together could be divided into three sides. First of all, it's Togetherland, which in reality is physical gatherings. For example, you had one in Germany, which was a national event for German people. You had another one in Bolivia. And we're going to have the global one in July. And we're going to speak about that more in the next slides. A second part of Act Together is Together Learn. Because the idea of partnership in a way is quite new to people, even for us it's quite new. So what we're trying to do is to teach people teach both adults and young people how to work together, how to listen to each other, and how to engage with each other.
And the third aspect that we have is Together Link. That would be how we link together all of the things that we do in person and online and offline as well then, to one place, and how do we make it accessible to as many people as possible. And one of the ways we do that is obviously through events like this, and another one is through websites and trying to make everything accessible online too. So one of the biggest things we advocate for is we're aware that you can bring all of the people that want to be there to one event, but we try to make it as accessible for them to at least see and learn from us, even from home. Now, one of our goals, or a couple of our goals actually, is first of all to change the mindset. So we're not working for anyone, we're working together with everyone.
Another one is to empower both children and adults to understand their unique potential and understand how they can be included as well.
We're also trying to build a community where that perspective of work would be normal. So when it comes to schools, when it comes to families, when it comes to organizations, we try to bring that view of life to everything.
And then also learning and raising awareness about the idea of partnership.
And one of the things that we would also always like people to take away from our projects is that local action is important. We can gather at one event, but we always want you to take something home, because at the end of the day, that's where we always start.
So what's happening now? First of all, we have Together Learn, which was developed in the Together Learn side, which was developed in December. In partnership with Eurochild, we developed something called a participation toolbox. This can be found for free in the Learning for Wellbeing website, and it mainly focuses on the idea of teaching adults and children, or children and adults together, how they can partner, how they can work together. Another one is a national event that happened in Germany. It's called Togetherland Germany. It was stewarded by a German institution called, a German foundation called Bertelsmann, and it led to the creation of local projects that were allocated funds from the German foundation. And another event was Togetherland Bolivia, which was planned for November, but unfortunately a small revolution happened in the country. So because of the safety of the people, we had to postpone the event to December. Instead of a 3-day event that would happen in November, we had a 1-day event in December.
This is actually a picture from Togetherland Germany. As we mentioned, this is what we're trying to build. All of us together, different ages together, people from different backgrounds together, working on the issue they agree that is the issue. And the biggest thing that we like about our events is, as I said, all of the people that were there, that wanted to take something back home, that wanted to do something, they got the opportunity to do it, and they got connected to the people that can help them do that.
So, Act Together Bolivia. So basically in Act Together Bolivia, we try to look at child participation in different spaces, taking into account children with disabilities as well, and how they can be included in education. We try to also take an innovative approach to participation while taking a look at a holistic approach, and as mentioned earlier, the 4 approaches, the 4 perspectives. Also, we had some organizations that worked with us, for example, UNICEF, Plan International, Save the Children, and Spanish and Dutch cooperation. And now the plan is to move forward from Act Together Togetherland Bolivia and move to Togetherland Latin America.
Here we actually wanted to mention our amazing partnership with Eurochild, because me and Konstantinos, we've worked with Eurochild for a couple of years as well. It's an organization basically for children's rights in Europe, and what Learning for Wellbeing is very open to is looking for partners that are willing to work with them and create something new. And they have this amazing partnership with Eurochild, so they partnered on the toolbox, as I said, and you can say something more about that as well.
So as you can see, that is the main information about what the toolbox has inside. You can all find it for free on the website. It's learningforwellbeing.com, and basically takes into account, as mentioned earlier, the partnership approach while looking at the well-being perspective into rights, because rights can be very vague in a way, and we have to take into account specific things as well. For example, how to facilitate, how to be a representative, how to be a participant.
This is actually a picture that we got from one of the Fridays for Future events. And we quoted with "proud to wear the badge," because this is just one example of what you can do with Act Together. What we're trying to say is that whatever idea you have, Act Together could support that if we're bringing together people from different generations, different backgrounds into one place and working on that issue. And for example, we can do that for Fridays with Future as well.
So I would say it would be quite ironic, in a way, to advocate for all this participation and partnership without including it into our organization. So when people ask me, what is the role of me and Edvina? Well, me and Edvina are, as you can see the picture, in the board of directors of Learning for Wellbeing. So Learning for Wellbeing decided to include children and young people into the board of directors. And now we had our first board meeting in Brussels, and we're still working in ways in which we can actually work together with children and adults. Because it is a process, it's not, we don't have the recipe, it's a process we learn together.
And here I would like to say something about our upcoming global event. It's going to be happening in the Netherlands from the 20th to 24th of July. It's a global event open for anybody to apply, and we'll see who we can bring there, hopefully as many of you guys as possible. The opening starts next week, I think. So definitely have a look into that, because we'll be very glad to have you there.
And how you can work with us and partner with us. First of all, you could host an event in your region, country. For example, we'll have Act Together Jordan, Act Together Italy, Act Together Spain, or Togetherland Spain, Togetherland Italy. We'll have events. You can also start a project, taking into account the ideas of Act Together and speaking with us. Also, you can become a strategic partner, for example, like Eurochild became with the participation toolbox. And you can also connect us to people that care, examples out there that might link to us, or even decision makers.
And I guess the best thing to say for the end is if you're willing to change something, if you want to change something, we're very, very open to listen to that. So this is our social media. You can follow us, you can contact us through our emails or social media as well. Or of course, talking to me and Konstantinos or even Darren over there, because we really want to do something and we're willing to help you do something and we're willing to accept your help. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Edvina and Konstantinos. That was fantastic. A very interesting demonstration of the gap between the perception of adults and how they think they're listening to young people and the young people in the room's perception. So thank you for demonstrating that for us. I'd like to open the floor to any questions from the room for Konstantinos and Edvina, or any comments? I wanted to ask you both if you were given the power to change something in our education systems to make them more inclusive. I know, Konstantinos, you talked about what you would do if you were the education minister in the couch session. What would be your message to this room? What would you change? What would you want to see being different to break down barriers?
Can you please repeat the last part because I didn't get that?
What would you like to change if you were the education minister in your country? What would be your recommendation to make education more inclusive?
I mean, I would change a lot of things, but the problem is, who am I to talk about what children want? It's about listening to children. I'm not an expert. I don't know what other people want. I may be dyslexic, but I don't know what other dyslexic people feel about the same subject. It's about asking them. It's about creating a consensual education. It's about including children in the way that they want. And it's about working together. It's not about one person deciding. I think that's what I would do. I would ask them.
Thank you very much. Edvina, do you want to add anything to that?
I would just say that I always feel like the first step is to start from yourself and sometimes even admit that you don't know everything, you don't know how to do everything, and that's what I've been trying to do here. I always wanted to do something to include more children with disabilities and their opinions into our events, but the reality is I didn't know how to, and what I tried to do is to talk to them as much as I can, to admit that I don't know everything, and to be like, okay, how can we work together? And I think as long as we start there, we can change a lot. But it's all about, as Konstantinos said, as long as we listen to each other, we can do something.
Thank you both. That's a really powerful message for consensual education. And thank you. Any questions or comments from the floor before we hand over to the next presentation? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. Well done.
So while the next presenters are getting ready, I'd like to ask you all to try and think of a couple of questions during each presentation, because we've got these experts up on the panel who've got so much insight and experience and new perspectives to bring to bear on the discussions. The next presentation is in two parts. The first part is a play, which is going to happen at the very front here. So if the four of you would like to come to the stage. And this is from the King's Academy in Jordan. And the play will last for about half of the time. And then Rana and Fajer are going to come back to the stage to do the second half of their presentation.
My school, King's Academy in Jordan, focuses on social responsibility. The school has a clear vision for preparing students with the leadership skills to be socially responsible citizens. Because of the guiding principles of my school, I am able to participate and take a leadership role in a project like Kursi wa Kitab. I have learned about the experiences that people with disabilities face. I have learned to sit in their wheelchairs. This presentation shares some of the things I have learned to understand and appreciate as I work with people with disabilities.
In this sketch, we will highlight one of the challenges that people with physical disabilities face after the age of 16 years old. Social integration and vocational training programs are rare in many countries due to lack of facilities and the different needs of people with physical disabilities. Scene 1, Fajer is talking to herself in her wheelchair inside her room in Jordan.
What day is it today? What's the time? How old I am? What do I do in life? What are my dreams in life? Do I have friends? Am I a normal person? When is the last time I went out of my room? What does it look like outside my house? How does it smell like outside? Can I go outside? No, I won't be accepted by people. The last time I went outside, people looked at me differently. They treated me differently, and they underestimated my abilities. But I love people, and I want them to be aware of my existence, because I am just like them, a human being.
Scene 2, Fajer is forced to stay at home while her family is going out to the mall.
Fajer, you can't go to the mall with us. We can't carry you around. But I'll get you some candy, okay?
Okay.
I'm sorry, dear. But you know I have to take care of your younger brothers. You can go to your room, sleep, and rest there.
I hate sleeping. I don't know how to sleep at night. And you're asking me to sleep in the morning?
It's okay. I'll take you next time.
Scene 3. After 1 year, Fajer's mother asks her to go out to the clothing shop.
Fajer, we're going to the shopping center. Are you ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready, and I'm so excited to go out.
Okay, let's go then.
Fajer and her mother enter the clothing shop in Amman.
Mom, why do people look at me in this way?
It's okay, just ignore them. Hi there, is there a women's section?
Yes, it's upstairs.
Is there an elevator? I'd like my daughter to go upstairs with me.
I'm sorry, we don't have elevator.
Fajer, just stay down here. I'll go upstairs and I'll get back. Okay?
Okay.
Fajer's mom goes upstairs while Fajer is sitting downstairs.
Hello, what's your name?
My name is Fajer.
Let me know if you need any help.
Yes, I can't move by myself. Can you help me move?
You mean you can't move your wheelchair?
No, I can't. It's too heavy.
So why don't you learn how to become independent, even if you are on a wheelchair?
Well, my parents worry a lot about me.
So you have to convince them. Do you go to school?
Well, I used to go. I finished my 10th grade, and now it's been 5 years, and I'm stuck at home. We didn't find a center to support us socially.
I'm really sorry for that. It's critical. Listen, try to search on social media to find a suitable program that can meet your needs.
Thanks. I will search for that.
I'm sorry if my daughter wasted your time.
No, not at all. I was happy chatting with her. She has lots of potential and she has a tasks to work on.
The story in our skit is an interaction that turned out positively. It's what we'd want to happen. Yet, we all know that many experiences that people with disabilities have with an unaware public can be harsh, embarrassing, and demoralizing. The founder of King's Academy, His Majesty King Abdullah II of Jordan, explained King's mission is not just to prepare young men and women to succeed in life, but to develop and empower young leaders who will drive change within and beyond their communities and eventually across borders. Kursi wa Kitab was established to drive change within and beyond the borders of our community. Kursi wa Kitab is a community service project at King's Academy that creates opportunities for people with physical disabilities to integrate with our students. The students create learning opportunities for children and adults in the areas of art, design, reading, and writing skills. Kursi wa Kitab is offered through co-curricular program at King's Academy. So we'll start now our presentation, starting with a short video about King's Academy. So King's Academy is a Jordanian international boarding school in Jordan and was founded in 2007 by His Majesty King Abdullah II of Jordan. His Majesty's aim was to foster empathy, tolerance, and harmony among students from the Middle East and around the world. At King's, we have 630 students from 36 different nationalities. 50% of our students receive financial aid. King's Academy provides a comprehensive college preparatory education through a challenging curriculum in the arts and sciences, an integrated co-curricular program of athletics, activities, and community service, and nurturing residential environment. At King's, our school day is long. We start at 8:30 to 4 p.m. with our regular classes. And from 4:30 until 6 p.m., we have our athletics program and community service programs. At King's, we have 8 residential houses that accommodate over 450 students in single bedrooms, including 6 disabled student bedrooms. Kursi wa Kitab, which means chair and a book, and we used these 2 words to symbolize the importance of education and mobility for people with disabilities. The logo is designed by our students. On the top, we have the name of the project, Kursi wa Kitab, and in the bottom, we have Haya Bila Hudud, which means life without borders, and this slogan was created by our students. In our project, we work in 2 domains. We believe a lot in conductive education, which is a Hungarian educational method where we teach children and adults with cerebral palsy how to move. And also the other domain, we support our students at King's and encourage them to study and research about the challenges we have in Jordan, and then each group should create a community service project to support the community. Our achievements since we started in 2012, we started with a fundraising event to buy 1 wheelchair to support adults with a cerebral palsy. And in 2013, we moved on arranging a Jordanian-Hungarian conference about conductive education, where we invited specialists from Hungary and Jordanian professors and professionals, where they presented what is the situation about cerebral palsy in Jordan. In 2014, we started with our first pilot program about conductive education. And then we had another event where we distributed wheelchairs for different regions in Jordan, from the north to the south. And our students, they themselves went and visited people, and they basically built the wheelchairs. In 2015, we invited other students from other schools to come, and we conducted a workshop about awareness for people with disabilities, and it was on campus. And we started to build ramps in different areas in Amman. And because we believe in how to become a more green environment, our students started to think how we can take advantage of our old bicycles and we can recycle them. So they worked on creating a tricycle to support people with physical disabilities. 2016, we had an art workshop and baking classes. 2017, we started teaching sign language course, and it became as a part of our school program and co-curricular. 2018, we implement different social activities, dancing workshop for people with physical disabilities, and building ramps. 2019, we collaborated with the American University in Madaba, where we invited their students to support our students to design courses to support people with physical disabilities. 2020, we just finished last month our second pilot program about conductive education. We also implemented different workshops, reading and art workshops. How we success in Kursiwa Kitab, of course, we should create partnerships with different organizations. So that's why we work very closely with the Royal Medical Services, Queen Rania Hospital for Children, and another Jordanian international school, International Academy in Amman. These are some pictures of the activities that we had during our conductive education, and the other one where our students started to build the wheelchairs, and the other photo where they started to create like the tricycle as a model.
So through Kursiwa Kitab, I started my own project, and to implement my project, I focused on 3 goals from the development goals, and I focused on education, peace, and partnership. I focused on these three specific goals because, first of all, I wanted to help people with disabilities in Jordan to be educated, and through education express their souls and their feelings. And I also wanted them to feel peaceful and more relieved, because when the first time I met them, they were kind of more stressed and more sad, and I wanted to work on this goal. And lastly, I wanted to work on partnership, and I worked with a lot of organizations, and as Ms. Rana said, we worked with the American University and like other organizations to aware people and about people with physical disabilities, and also to make the Jordanian community more inclusive. So as I said, for us and in my project, the first step was to aware people about people with disabilities in Jordan, and to achieve my aim, I worked with Tarasanta School. We did this workshop, and it was a poetry night where we kind of integrated people with disabilities in the school, and we asked them to do like music and activities. We also worked with the American universities, where we asked 3 students to come and help us or teach us in graphic design and art courses. We also worked with IAA, or the International School in Jordan, and we did a blind activity. And lastly, we worked with JMP, which is Jordan Model Parliament, and it's a conference at King's in my school. And we try to engage, to help people with disabilities engage in these conferences about politics in Jordan and how to solve problems in Jordan. Through this project, I wanted to have a foundation for this project. So I made a course plan, and in the course plan, I included the main goals or skills that I want to work on, such as active listening, reading, writing skills, negotiations, starting their own business, marketing, and I created this foundation for Kursi wa Kitab as also a reference for other students who want to continue working on this program. And I chose these specific courses because when I also met people with disabilities in the first day, I also noticed that they lack listening skills, writing skills, speaking skills, because as we also mentioned before, they don't go to schools after 15 years, when they're 15. So that's why I wanted to improve these skills. And for the activities and the sessions we did, so we wanted to implement these skills and course plans by doing a lot of sessions, such as we worked with the Queen Rania Hospital for kids, and we went there and we painted the hospital's walls to support a new section that was going to open for people with disabilities. We also did conductive education. And I have a short video about our activities and sessions. So as you saw in the video, we did different activities. We did like art activities, music, sessions. We also try to engage other students at King's to come and participate in these activities to make our community more inclusive. And for our achievements, so first of all, we wanted to start with King's Academy with our school, and so we built a ramp so we can give people with disabilities a chance to come to King's and participate in workshops and activities. Then we went to a business park, and in the business park in Amman, they do a lot of workshops, and so we also wanted to give people with disabilities a chance to come and participate in these workshops, and so we built a ramp. In the beginning, they didn't have a ramp, so we wanted to do that. And then finally, the reflection. So in the beginning, I didn't know a lot about people with physical disabilities and disabilities in general. And then when I first met them, I wanted to help them, and I learned a lot of things, and they became part of my life. So every time I meet them, I feel more happy. And this project didn't only impact me, but also impacted them. So impacted me, I learned more about them, and also impacted them as they felt happier. And I saw this result as like after I do the art sessions, and in the beginning, I used to see them use darker colors, and then at the end, they started to use colorful, engage more with people, which shows our growth. And so after all this, and after participating in Zero Project, we also we were thinking about starting our own conference, like the MUN in Jordan, and we wanted to engage people with their disabilities in this conference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rana and Fajer. Are there any questions about the work at King's Academy in Jordan? In that case, Could you all join me in thanking the first three project presentations? And these guys are going to leave the stage now, and group 4 are going to head on up. So thank you very much to all of you for fantastic presentations.
I forgot to get it. The order changed. Amazing. Yes.
Okay, thank you all for allowing us that slight change of panel. We're really excited to have, this is going to test my German, Integrative Lernwerkstatt Brigittenau, ILB. That was terrible, you're laughing at me, stop it. Who are an inclusive school based here in Vienna. We're really happy to have a panel made up of staff, members of the Parents Association at the school, and current and former students of the school as well. With us today we have the principal, Karin Stuckey-Feller, we have Christina from the Parents Association, then we have Lily, Raphael, we don't have Raphael, we do have Raphael, Talha, Raphael, we're friends, no, it's fine, and Ida as well. So I will hand over to you, Karin.
Okay. Yeah, hello and welcome to this great event. We're honored to be here with you and to present our school project. It's called the ILB, which means Inclusive Learning Center Brigittenau in Vienna. I'm Karin Feller, I'm the principal of the school, and I'm glad to be here with some of our students and former students. So let me say again, this is Talha on the left, this is Raphael, this is Lily, and this is Ida, and one mother of one of our students, it's Christina here. So our school is pretty unique in Austria, and we will show you how. So let's start with the next picture. We are a public school. We are founded 22 years ago.
The clicker ain't working. Darüber? Okay. No.
Okay. This you see our logo in the next picture.
Classic. There we are.
Okay,
I don't know if it was me or was it you over there? Did it work? Let's see.
Just tell us.
Okay, we can switch to the next one.
Okay, I think it's working.
Yeah, this one is good. So our project started 22 years ago in 1998, and it started as a pilot project, and we are still a pilot project. It's a comprehensive, inclusive school, and in our school there are students from the age of 6 to 15, and all kinds of students with all kinds of abilities and a wide range of abilities. We have about 400 students, and about 90 of them have special needs. Okay, I think we can switch to the next one.
Okay, now I want to show you how regular state schools in Austria work. The majority of them are primary and public schools are part-time and start between 7:45 and 8 a.m. Single grade classrooms are the norm, and in Austria we have very few inclusive schools, especially for older students, which means children from 10 years and above. Approximately 40% of students with special needs attend special ed schools, which are well equipped, but do not offer a shared learning experience. In most cases, students receive number-based marks from second grade onwards. Another point is that in Austria, at the age of 10, students are split into two groups to attend either grammar schools or secondary schools. Most grammar schools are not inclusive and do not offer places to students with special needs. Also, in most regular schools, students and parents are not meant to be part of the decision-making process concerning school issues.
So, what makes us different? Well, asking what makes us different is like asking what makes an apple different from a nuclear warhead. Well, first, our school only operates with inclusive multi-grade classes, which is organized in 3 levels. There's the entry level for preschoolers and for students from 1st to 3rd grade, the middle level from 4th to 6th grade, and the exit level from 7th to 8th grade. Each level is divided into smaller study groups where students with and without disabilities work and play together. Our school starts at 8:30 a.m. and goes until 4 p.m., unlike whatever Austrian schools have with their 7:30 to 8 a.m. they got from the 1700s or so. As a state school, we have to follow a mandatory curriculum, but we implement this based on progressive education, as for example defined by Montessori, Freinet, Dalton, or Genaplan. People that, unlike our government, actually know something about education. We have students from all socioeconomic backgrounds, a well-balanced range in terms of academic abilities, and students with German as first or second language. Lastly, we don't have traditional grades because we believe that letting some random numbers decide over a child's future is not particularly a good idea. And also, we don't invade the privacy with homework because, unlike the average regular school across the globe, we do not disregard human rights. Next. So, as I just told you, our school is just as unique as 2 sheep sitting on a tree and knitting attack helicopters. Let us show you the other big reasons on why.
So the main focus is on the students. We want to help them to develop their skills and to develop their personality, and we try that they find their potential and to make the best out of it. Of course, this should be normal in every school, but we try our best to do it our way. Okay, next one.
There's a strong relationship between teachers, students, and parents. Our school encourages parents and students to partake in initiatives and decisions on a variety of school issues, forming a triangle between teachers, students, and parents. What you see here are pictures from regular school council meetings where everyone is invited and where we all together, the parents, the students and the teachers, vote on school issues. We also have a well-organized and active parents association as an established and important part of our institution. Among other initiatives, it organizes financial help so that all students can participate in extracurricular activities.
We have only inclusive multi-grade classes and multi-age groups. As students are at very different skill levels due to age differences, inclusion implies that few direct comparisons are being made. Every 2 years, each student group, around 40 students, goes on a week-long field trip experiencing all sorts of sports and team-building activities.
So at the ILB, all study groups are inclusive. This allows students to develop strong social skills. To them, inclusion is nothing special, but a part of their everyday lives. Unfortunately, we can't respond to every special need due to missing resources and further facilities. So the school has rented an outdoor location called the Au, including a house and garden in a floodplain forest of the Danube. It can be reached within 30 minutes by train from the school. So the location allows students to enjoy hands-on projects in real-life settings, and the focus lies on the joint effort. Furthermore, young students have the possibility to experience nature in a broad variety, like wildlife, building small cabins of sticks, the garden, the surrounding woods, and many other activities. So one thing I wanted to mention is that when I was a student, I kind of hated the Au, but now where I left the ILB, I want to go back and yeah, that's what it is.
The older students learn how to grow vegetables, maintain the herbarium in the garden, and they do small repair and renovating projects. They also build furniture or even a boat. They are taught a wide range of skills, supervised by local craftsmen and women. Part of this outdoor experience is to organize cooking, collecting wood, making fire, or washing dishes in teams. Teachers and professionals make sure that everyone plays an important part and that the whole group has a great experience. And as Lily has already mentioned, at the school meetings where the parents and the teachers and the students meet, very often they show pictures from the Au. Now, the normal reaction of the parents is like, oh, look at them, they're all bundled up, chopping wood, whereas the students are like, oh my God, do you remember how freezing cold it was? So there are slightly different perceptions, but as Lily said, afterwards, you know, once there's a bit of a tinge of nostalgia on it, it's fondly remembered.
The focus on creative subjects in the ILB, such as dance, arts and crafts, allows students to develop skills and self-confidence in other subjects besides abilities usually relevant in school. This in return helps them to become better in school subjects.
So, there is a pedagogical staff of about 80 or 90 professionals in our school with a wide range of variety and skills, like outdoor instructors, dance instructors, leisure time instructors, art and crafts experts. They work together and share their knowledge and abilities. They put a strong emphasis on the intellectual and social exchange between students, parents, and teachers all together. Next one.
We have a strong emphasis on the relationship between students and teachers. The ILB allows its students to address their teachers by their given name, which helps creating a stronger level of relationship and trust. This also makes it easier for them to ask for help when they have problems or are struggling in certain areas of their studies. There's a clear hierarchy between students and teachers. Nevertheless, students are being treated with respect, and their opinions, thoughts, and suggestions are being taken seriously, whereas the regular Austrian school treats their students like inmates of a North Korean detention camp.
Okay. Once a week, the class council meets to train problem-solving and democratic skills. There are also weekly meetings of the students' representatives where the same skills are practiced. The school is also running a peer mediation program.
All of our students have individual plans for their learning targets. This individualized studying is organized through a coaching system. Each student has a personal coaching teacher. In the middle level, for example, everyone in my study group had an individual weekly plan with exercises or certain assignments in each subject, which we had to complete. In the exit level, we had a so-called pensum, which is a set task in every subject, which we had to follow for about 2 weeks. Every semester, we had to present our learning progress to our parents in a teacher-students-parents talk. as a student of the Inclusive Learning Center Brigittenau, you study in different types of settings. Firstly, in lessons where the specialized subject teachers explain a new topic, such as in mathematics, for example, square roots, or in English, a new tense. Another form of learning in our school are group projects, for example, the World Project, where a group consists usually of 2 to 4 students, has to present a country and has to bring a local speciality from the state for the following World Cafe. And at last, in my opinion, largest part of learning in our school, the individualized instructions. During the individualized instruction time, you work on your individual plan, sometimes with a teacher who is supporting you, and sometimes on your own.
Talking about identification with our school, there's a strong identification of current and past students with our school. Further students tend to stay in touch and come over to visit once a year for an internally organized school fair where they tell current students about their further education experiences. Well, some of them only come for the pizza they get afterwards. But I still hope most of them had a good time after the ILB, because when we're talking about inclusivity, I can pretty much say that if I drank 3 liters of Red Bull, a bottle of vodka, snorted 17 lines of cocaine, and punched myself in the face 96 times, I would still have had a more bearable time than I have had in high school.
So the ILB practice inclusion by putting strong emphasis on individual needs, learning and peer learning. Yeah, each study group has at least one teacher trained in special needs education. So, in my opinion, one of the most important things at the ELB is that students help each other and learn from each other, which creates a shared learning experience. There are also life skill groups, which are intended for students with special needs to help them with everyday tasks in order to allow them to become more independent. So students with disabilities don't need to integrate. They are included in our big ILB family, like a normal thing.
So we have a vision. We want to live in a... Sorry, okay. We have a vision. We want to live in a society where everybody is a valued part of a community. This will only happen if we learn to live together from a very early age onward, instead of allowing segregation based on ability, socioeconomic backgrounds, language skills, and more. We're a good example that it is possible to achieve this vision, and we want others to inspire and to follow our path. And now, as a gift for you, we have a short video. It's from the Life Skills group. They perform a song. It's called Hello You. Enjoy.
A look behind the scenes.
1, 2, 3. Hallo, hallo, wer bist du? Ein ganz großes Nanu. Hallo, hallo.
So, to summarize, we truly are a very unique school in Austria, as we are a state school, but we work mainly with a lot of alternative pedagogical concepts. We really are a comprehensive, inclusive school, which is far from the norm in this country. And right now, due to the current political climate in Austria, we're not really sure if our school has a future. But we won't go down without a fight. We have a proven history of finding means and ways to live our vision. If you want to know more about our school, because of our 20th anniversary last year, we had a film made. It's the Learning for Everyone from Until 15 is Good for Everyone, which is the rough translation of the film. This can be found at our school. And there's also a website, which we forgot to put on our presentation. It's www.lernwerkstatt.or.at. I spell Lernwerkstatt, Lernwerkstatt. And if anyone wants to come and visit, we're always very happy to welcome people from the outside to show them how our school works. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, all of you. That was a fantastic presentation and such a beautiful description of the video as a gift. It really was a gift. It was lovely to see. So thank you for sharing that with us as well. Any closing remarks that you want to make?
Yeah, it was a pleasure to be here with you. And as Christina already said, you are invited to come to visit us. We like visitors. We like to show you around, and not only we, the teachers, or me as a principal, even the children at our school, the students, they like to show you around, and especially the children from the life skills group, they love to show you the school. So please, if you have the opportunity and you are in Berna, come to our school. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the floor? Yes, one up here.
Yeah, in the beginning you said it's a pilot school, and it's still a pilot school after 20 years. Why is it a pilot school, and were there other schools that got in contact with you to see how you do things and to maybe take over some of your experiences?
We wonder why we are still a pilot project, which we shouldn't be. It should be normal, but it's a pilot project because normally in Austria, the children are divided or segregated at the age of 10. They have to choose different schools. And this is in our school, it's not like that. We stay together from 6 years old until 15. And that's what we wish for a lot of other schools. And we're also a pilot project because all classes are multi-grade classes, all classes are inclusive. That's even not normal in Austria. And we're a pilot project because we don't give regular marks. We have a reflective assessment, as the students said before, where teachers, students, and parents come together twice a year, and the students show their progress, and the teachers and the parents make comments on that, and we don't need the marks. So would you say anything else to that? I ask you.
I want to say something.
Excuse me?
I want to say something. I just want to say thanks to Marianne and Marijeta, because they actually visited our school yesterday. They just stood there in front of it, but still, I wanted to say thanks for giving it a quick shot, because that means a lot to us, because as you say, we're still a pilot project because the state, and since we're a pilot project, that's the only way we're even allowed to exist. And every year we have to battle with the politicians and the government to keep our school open, because apparently they don't like things that are good for children. Yeah. So thanks for the project. Thanks for everyone for giving us a shot to represent us, to make a stand at international states. And thanks everyone for enduring my quite dark satirical comments.
Thank you. another follow-up question? Yeah.
Yeah, Tala, I would have one more question to you because you became quite a little celebrity with your quotes at the Zero Project Conference, especially the wrecking ball you mentioned yesterday or no, 2 days ago. So is that the school you would build up from the scratch, as you said, or how would your ideal school look like?
I think our school is a good step in the right direction. I heard something, I think someone said that our schools are really, really similar to schools in Finland. And looking at the charts and statistics in Finland, the learning performance of the students is way, way higher than here in Austria or generally in Europe. And also the students are way happier, which if the schools in Finland are really similar to ours, I can really, really understand. We just need reforms because I think our school is modern. The way the Finnish schools do it is modern, and nobody is perfect, nothing is perfect. There is always more room for improvement, and the job of the government, especially for education, should be to always improve, to always move forward, not to stand. But unfortunately, the mindset that we have is currently we're being stuck. Everything we do is perfect. We don't want to take examples from other people because apparently that we can't stand we can admit the fact that someone is doing it better than us. We need to have someone to give us influence, to give us how is it called? I don't know. Role models. Some role models. I forgot the word. It starts with in. Doesn't matter. I'm wasting time. But still, we need to look at examples. We need to combine the best parts of the world, and we actually need to talk to the children. I said something like removing homework because I think it's a privacy invasion. I think the biggest step that we have to do is make them optional. Because the biggest problem that we also have next to the non-inclusivity of our Austrian schools is that many Austrian students just start hating the school, and we won't be able to give people a good education if they hate the school. They need to love the school, and the school need to give them reasons to love them. And right now, as the school is, we're still based. Our principles are still based in the 1700s, and that needs to stop. We need to be at the present and not somewhere some centuries in the past. It doesn't work that way. All right, I'm sorry, I took too much time. I didn't want to take time away from the guys who are going to be broadcasted. Yeah.
Thank you, Tala. Those are incredibly powerful words. I just wondered, Konstantinos has a question, so I'm going to close with that one.
Yeah, I'll just rush to the question, so I won't waste any more time. So obviously your education system, the way you use it is very unique. I'm sure that there are many students that would like to go to your school, but obviously there's a certain number of students you can accept. How do you select those students?
We just take the students that live very close to our school. So this is the only selection that we made. Yeah, it's a certain district around the school. It's about 700 or 800 meters. If you live in that district, you can come to our school.
Okay, thank you so much. That was very, very interesting. And I'd like to thank Christina, Ida, Lily, Karin, Raphael, and Tala. Please give them a round of applause.
Thank you very much. The next project presentation is joining us remotely, and I'm very happy to introduce Leon and Philip from the Lernwerkstatt organization.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, thank you. So, as you have heard, my name is Leon Juma from Kenya. Actually, I'm alone. Philip could not join me for the Zoom meeting, but I'll do the presentation alone, and I'm happy to be here, and then I'm happy to do the presentation. So without wasting time, my presentation is about a project called 2030 and Counting, which was engaged with youth with disabilities to influence change. And it was done by Leonard Cheshire, and also an organization in Kenya called ANDI. Also, so we start from the first slide. Sorry. So the background of the project. So Leonard Cheshire is a leading inclusive development agency working to improve the lives of persons with disabilities across the globe. And about the project, it's called 2030 and counting. Actually, when you hear 2030, that means 10 years from now, and counting many more years. Is a Leonard Cheshire's global initiative to bring together youth with disabilities and disabled people's organizations to report on and advocate for their rights. So ANDI, which is Action Network for the Disabled, is a national BPO working at all levels of community to include persons with disabilities to bring about positive change. And also, and was involved in the 2030 counting project, and it was a partner here in Kenya. So more about our project. So the project aims to ensure youth-friendly, disability-inclusive policies are implemented by policymakers. So we had 3 phases in our project. We had training, whereby some youth with disabilities went to the UK for training, and after that they came back to Kenya and were able to train other youth with disabilities for the project. And then after the training, we had story gathering, which was done using mobile phones to report on the experience of disabilities inclusion against the 3 SDGs. So I didn't mention earlier, but our project mainly focused on the SDGs, and the third phase was influencing BPOs and youth disabilities present their stories to policymakers. So all the stories we collected were able to be presented to some of the policymakers to make change. So the next slide. The project focus, as I said earlier, it focused on the 3 SDGs. So SDG number 3, which was good health and well-being. SDG number 4, quality education, which is most important today. And also SDG number 8, decent work and economic growth. So it was important for us to link our experiences to global frameworks like the SDGs, so that we can hold government to account for their committing their commitments which they made through the SDGs. So through 2030 and counting, we were able to collect stories of the experience of youth with disabilities, which are used for evidence-based influencing. Sorry for the noise. So we had a very great innovation aspect. So I'm sure you all know this data that more than 5 billion people are connected to a mobile, and about 2/3 of the population. So 2030 and counting worked with communications and technology partners on our radar to help youth with disabilities take part in data collection with their mobile phones. So all the stories that were collected with the mobile phone. This was so easy, by the way, rather than if we could have said newspapers or maybe questionnaires. I'm sure we could have gotten all those stories we got, and maybe some people even see that's old fashioned. We are the youth, so these things are changing. So this was the best perspective we used. So technology breakdowns barriers of participation by allowing multiple formats of reporting. So we had text, whereby you could get a story, and also you send it as a text, audio, whereby you could record someone talking, or maybe take a video. And then you could use this app in Google Play Store called Signal app, where you could send all those formats. And it really simplified the collection of stories. So we also maximized in the use of social media tools, and we have the hashtag 2030 and counting. All those years we did the project. And then the next slide, we have the outcome. So this is the outcome and impact of our project. So 77 youth with disabilities were trained, 332 stories collected, including 148 about education. That was a milestone. Education was loved by many. And also that 4 policymakers were engaged and 400 social media mentions of that county. So the citizen reporter strongly agreed with the statement. I feel confident to share my experience with the influential people in my community. Because before, actually you can see from the screen, before they were 27%, and after the project, we had an 86%. That was an increase, of which it really helped a lot. And it made the youth advocates to have a very good confidence in sharing stories. So next slide. So about inclusive education, these are the next steps for inclusive education according to our country here in Kenya. So the findings of the project are presented to the policy makers, including the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Gender, Youth and Social Services. So these are the priorities of change that were identified by the youth with disabilities, that they wanted all the teachers to be trained on inclusive education approaches and also engage youth with disabilities in identifying appropriate classroom adjustments and also build and upgrade to education facilities to be inclusive, because that's a major challenge we're having in our country. Not all schools are inclusive. So these are the priorities that the youth with disabilities who took part in our project identified. And we definitely, in a project, there are successes and there are challenges. So we had a good success. So the program involved a peer-led and monitoring component which encouraged participation and retention of participants. Like everything was done by the youth, the training, the recruitment, the gathering of stories. Like Leonard Cheshire decided to give all the tasks to the youth, and it was a great impact because to give us that sense of having leadership skills whereby you can lead others to do a project, of which most are done by people who don't have disability or higher, or maybe adults, but this one was done by the youth. Also, the program promoted a space of diverse range of youth with disabilities to interact and learn about each other's disability, making us more rounded disability advocates. So actually, it was diverse because we had people living with physical disability, we had people with hearing impaired, and also visual, and also the intellectual. So it gave us a chance to educate others on each particular disability. If maybe you've never interacted with somebody with a hearing impaired disability, you had a chance to know about it, or maybe visually impaired and also intellectual. As I said earlier, we had challenges. Recruitment was one of the challenges because like mostly the intellectual impairment was challenging, and also the hearing impaired. I remember we had to retrain the hearing impaired because for the first training, like they didn't get all that was taught. So like we had to request for another training, but that was sorted and they all participated well in the project. And then not all relevant policymakers were able to attend the planned advocacy events. So we could plan for events and invite policymakers, but not all of them. And then the key stakeholders should be approached at an earlier stage of the project. So like maybe we would do invites, but after maybe like before maybe 2 weeks or 1 week to the event, they turned us down. But anyway, that it was a challenge, but we were able to overcome it, and some of the events we were able to go and meet the policymakers. And also, the last slide, the next steps and the sustainability of our projects. So the DPOs are continuing to engage the youth with disabilities, living a sustainable legacy in advocacy projects. Not forgetting the introduction of working with youth with disabilities has taught us their voices are important in the development process. Like this has taught like our voices matter. And then we now believe that self-advocacy is more appropriate and effective as compared to other people talking on behalf of youth with disability. That's a big deal from Zambia. I didn't say earlier, our project involves 3 countries. We had Kenya, Zambia, and the Philippines. So Africa, we had 2 countries. So, and then at the last sustainability and next steps point is Leonard Cheshire is delivering a post-project leadership training and supporting 2030 and counting supporters to attend global events such as the UN Conference of State Parties in New York, which took place last year. We had one of our youth going to present the project at the UN, and also including the Zero project, of which I'm doing right now. So from my side, I can say that the project has been a success, and it has really taught a lot, most of the youth disabilities about sustainable development goals, and also about advocacy. I think we have I can say we have a cascade of advocates for now through 2030 and counting. And our prayer and what we hope that like we'll continue fighting for these SDGs, like for the government to be committed and to do what to make honor of their commitments. And I can see, I can imagine if all this is done in the next 10 years and all the SDGs are achieved, I think we'll be living in a better world. And the world for persons with disability will be a great one whereby you want to live. It's not like now. So to end my presentation, I had a video of which I will play and share the screen so that you could see the video. It's called Missing Voices. It was part of the project, and you will be able to see two youth disabilities talking about their experience on inclusive education. Yeah. So a minute, please. Can you all see?
So, Leon, can you play the video from your end?
Yeah, sorry. 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Okay, can you see it from your end?
Yes, we can.
Okay, let me put it. Yeah.
Is there sound with the video, Leon, that you want to play?
What? You can't hear the sound?
No, just we can see it, but we can't hear it.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to control the sound from my end. I think I would be happy to be helped there. I'm not sure how to share the sound.
If you email us, if you put the link to the video in the chat on Zoom, then we can play it from this end.
What?
If you put the link to the video in the chat box, then we can play it.
Okay. 1 minute.
Thank you.
1 minute. Okay.
This is great because it's giving everybody in the room a chance to think of questions for you.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Let me copy the link, it's just here. Oh no.
Is the video on YouTube, Leon, and we can find it?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Actually, I'm sending you the YouTube link. I found it.
It's building up a sense of great excitement with everybody in the room here.
So, okay, yeah, it's there. I've sent it. You can see it now.
Brilliant, that's come through. We'll play it now.
Okay.
Stories behind 2030 and counting. This is the story of Regina Mwangi and Mandela George Gaya from Kenya.
To me, impressions matter.
And there's always this stereotype that disabled people are dirty, ugly, you know. So I have to prove some of those things wrong.
At least 15% of the entire world population, that is approximately 1 billion people, are living with one form of disability or the other. Now, between 65 and 85% of disabled children are not able to attend school, which is a right in its own respect.
I'm passionate about advocacy for persons with disabilities because of my own life experience.
These people are somehow disempowered, they are excluded, and there is no equality. And when you talk about access, he's talked about transport, access to education, access to health, access to opportunities, access to recreational facilities and activities.
I have my school, so I'm not here complaining. My school is one of the best in East and Central Africa. Just gonna wait and see whether there's anyone around to help me go up. But in this beautiful and expensive environment, my most basic needs are not taken care of. I could be getting, not the sort of quality education that other people are getting.
I'm trying.
Are you ready? Because me, I'm not ready. That's why I leave the library. Not because I'm not smart, but just because the physical environment doesn't, encourage my brilliance. Personally, I face most of my challenges are physical barriers. This is why I went to meet George to just see how attitudinal barriers affect, especially in his education.
I call myself a blind man who can see. And books. It's because with my phone, I can literally see everything. The attitude of my family on my education, most of them, they felt like it was a wastage of time and resources because they felt like I'm one person who was not going to come out to achieve anything in life. But my dad, he could send me to the shop. He could allow me to play with other children, like any other child. He said, this guy needs to walk on his own. That really gave me a sense of independence that motivated me to want to go to school. There you go. I am filming a story about disability rights. The fact that I was isolated in my family, I really felt like I was left out. But at the same time, it really pushed me hard to work, to achieve my dreams. And when I went to school, I did not come position one because I had everything I wanted, but because of that hard feeling that people thought that I was nothing. There is a problem in the minds of people. It's not a problem that is not able to be solved. It's just a matter of an awareness. If you have someone who is disabled or is visually impaired like myself, all you have to do is to give them the opportunity to explore what they want in life. Don't keep them locked in your houses. Open up the doors, let them go out, mix up with the other children or with the other adults like them. They will finally realize what they are in life and what they can make out of themselves.
Leonard Cheshire's 2030 and Counting initiative empowers youth with disabilities to tell their own stories. The stories have been gathered by citizen reporters living with disabilities to show the reality of Leave No One Behind. Want to find out more? Visit leonardcheshire.org/international/youth.
Okay, I think that was the last part of the video. And that was my presentation. And by then I'm so happy. I was supposed to be part of the team that is in Vienna, but anyway, the visa failed me. But the best thing is that I've done my presentation, advanced technology, And I think I've proven that no human is limited. Yeah, because of technology, I'm here and I've done it. So thank you so much. So I'm ready for any question where possible I'll answer you.
So a round of applause for Leon. Thank you very much for that presentation. Are there any questions in the room for Leon? Yes, please, the question over there. Thank you. Christina, thank you.
Hey there. Honestly, it's not a question, but I want you to say thank you for this beautiful film. I was really moved, I was really touched, and I thought it was fantastic that it was the people talking about themselves, not someone looking from the outside, but them telling us their story, showing us their reality. Thank you very much. It was fantastic.
You're so welcome. Welcome.
Great. Thank you, Christina, for that. In that case, a final round of applause for Leon, and I would like to invite our 6th project presentation to make their way to the stage. Thank you, Leon.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everybody for bearing with us and waiting for the 6th presentation. I'm really excited to see it. I'm going to use my very bad German pronunciation again, but we're really happy to have the Schulzentrum Ungergasse from Vienna here with us presenting about the work of their school. Here we have Elizabeth, then we have, help me, Stefan, Anna, and Lucas. So over to you.
Okay, thank you very much for the lovely introduction, and hello to all of you. As the teacher of this lovely group of students from SZU Ungergasse, I'm delighted to have this opportunity to talk to you about our school and our project. Our school is also a state school. It's a higher vocational college with 2 foci, commercial focus and a technical focus. If you want to visit our school, please go to www.szu.com. You are more than welcome to visit us virtually, but also analogically, or differently said, realistically, when you are around the corner in Vienna. Let me first introduce the members of our group. In the middle, female first, Anna Ebel. Over there, our film producer who will present a project with a very promising, I'd also say mysterious title called Reveals. And to my left, Stefan Mitrovic, who will talk after my little introduction. Our students are all students from Schulzentrum Ungergasse, as you've heard. It's a school in the middle of Vienna, in the center of Vienna, more precisely in the 3rd district, located. It was built in the 80s, situated next to the Rudolf Stiftung, which is a big hospital. And therefore there, location-wise if help is needed for our students with special needs, but I'll talk about this a little later. Our students, they're currently in the 5th grade of the technical department that specializes in IT network technology. At the end of March, they'll have the deadline for just handing in their final projects which they have been working on for several months. I have a little cheat sheet because the project papers, they have complicated technical titles and therefore I might better read them out. So please, students, correct me if I make some mistakes. So one project is on C-Lock, emphasizing on digital lock systems, and the other one called Mover Lab, which is a project, so they've done research on for a very long time, on collecting data from electronic devices. Let me now give you a short overview of our school, as promised before. Our school is a vocational college that is unique in many respects. It offers 8 different types of education and training with the main objective of educating students with special needs and students without disabilities together on the same site. This means that physically impaired students, visually impaired students, and acoustically impaired students are taught together with non-impaired students throughout all educational and training programs according to the same national curriculum, which means that the national curriculum, just to emphasize it a bit more, is the curriculum that is valid all over Austria. The program lasts between 3.5 and 5 years, depending on the type of programs the students have chosen. These students, so the students sitting next to me, they have been at our school for 5 years, and after an experience, so they can either start and enter the working world, or they can go to university after the Austrian A-levels, that is the Matura. And if, after having entered the working world, and with an experience or work experience for 3 years, they can officially get the title of engineer. The uniqueness of the school is manifested in the opportunities offered by the educational and training programs that are offered at the SZU. These opportunities are not provided by any other schools in the whole of Austria. Our students with disabilities are given personal and technical support if needed. So it's always the initiative of the students. They tell us whether they need our help or not, in order not to limit them or take away their own responsibility. So they are educated as such, they're educated to just show the initiative, and then we are more than delighted to give them a helping hand. Both students with and without disabilities alike benefit from this system of, as we call it, integrated teaching. This means that we work according to a principle of reverse integrations that is based on a relation of 30% to 70%. What does it mean? First, 30% of students with disabilities are allowed into our school, and then the classes are filled up with students without disabilities. This means that all our students with and without disabilities can acquire specialist vocational education and training with sustainable social competence. And this is what counts most at our school. Lastly, I will give you a little survey about, so just very briefly, about the advantages that our school offers, and probably also the challenges, because you all know that because why do we talk about barrier-free education? Because there are still challenges we've got to overcome together. So let me just mention a few, because we are running out of time. So our school is mostly barrier-free. We follow exactly the same curricula, which means that they have exactly the same tests and exams. This can very often be exhausting. So as far as homework is concerned, they don't get extra time. And now just imagine Anna preparing the Matura just together with non-handicapped students who are sitting to her left and right. So very, very often she's stressed out, and therefore she can go to the therapy center with the days of the Matura. We can have little breaks, and during these breaks she'll be offered massage and we'll just wait. But on the other hand, to be honest with us, this might also mean that instead of the 5 hours, Anna will sit till the very late afternoon there with her support teachers and the teaching staff, and hopefully successfully, and this is what we all hope, pass her Matura with success. We have extra individual support for our students offered by our teachers, by assistant teachers if necessary. We have smaller class sizes very often. We have a therapy center offering therapy throughout the school day. We have an on-site boarding school, on-site boarding accommodation, which means that there's no extra journey to school for our students with disabilities. There's even on-site medical support. So we have nurses and doctors who are there 24 hours 7. And we are a recognized school, a recognized European Union and UNESCO school. We have partner schools, for example, in Tel Aviv and Trieste, which should show that we really love human bridges that make us stronger. And in this sense, you are heartily invited, because you all pursue the same goals, to just reunite with us in order to make us stronger. All in all, this shows that we promote an inclusive culture in the sense of gender, impairments, culture, religion, and ethnicity. Our work, I think, can best be described and summed up with a Chinese saying, chances multiply when they are taken. This was just a brief overview of the SZU approach to integrated or more inclusive education and training. And now Anna, Stefan and Lucas, sorry for having you wait so long, they will give you a little deeper insight into our school concept with visions, fire, passion, but for sure, better together. Thank you very much, and now over to you guys.
Next slide. My talk is divided in 2 parts. First, I will talk about myself. Then I will talk a bit about inclusive disabilities in the working world, as I am a student from a vocational school soon taking my final exams. Hi, I'm Anna. I'm 21 years old, and I attend the 6th grade of a higher technical school in Vienna. My parents, 3 younger brothers, and 1 younger sister live in Upper Austria. So when school is in session, I am in a boarding school. This may sound like a normal life of a teenager, but I have a normal muscular issues. When I was born, the doctors gave me just a few weeks to survive. I couldn't eat normally, so I had an acid tube for the first 2 years of my life. But I learned to eat. At the age of 5, I learned how to walk independently for short distances. Over the years, walking has become more difficult because of the strains in my legs. Nowadays, I can walk a short distance with a heat water and an expensive tea place for the left side. I attend a regular kindergarten, primary and secondary school, and now I'm in a regular higher technical school. My time in school was and is not always easy. The main point of difference from other students is that I need more time for writing my homework, schoolwork, and everything else. I also need to take breaks between some work because I don't always have the strength. Another point is that I get pain from sitting for long periods. In general, I can use public transport by myself. For example, when I use a plane, there is a specific door that has more space, and then usually it works. But sometimes I get in strange situations. For example, when the platform is too short or a lift doesn't work. But some of these are so lively. Other challenges, for example, doors which don't open automatically or not accessible toilet facilities. In our school building, we have an indoor swimming pool for therapy. About 2 years ago, I learned how to swim there. Now I come into the water and swim about 300 meters without any help. Swimming is for me a hobby and a therapy at the same time because it isn't tolerable, has a therapeutic effect, and it is good for the pulmonary function. I'm very proud that I have learned how to swim. At the age of 18, I had had a chance to take a genetic test to find out exactly what my disability is. Through this genetic test, we found out that I have generalized neurotic 10, which affects one person out of 60,000. I wish to have a normal life with friends, education, and work, and I'd like to have conversations on my level, a life where I can make my own decisions, perhaps assisted by technology. People with disabilities are like any other people, so I asked myself why a company should not hire a person with disabilities. If you employ a person with disabilities, your company might get more attention in public. People with disabilities in a company enrich everything. They have a different way of thinking and acting. Therefore, I'm really looking forward to the challenges after my final exams. Yes, it is not always easy, and no, it is not always bad. I don't know it any differently, and how I know it is good. Fingers crossed, let us think positive and wait for new doors to open.
Next page. Thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stefan Mitrovic, and I'm going to talk about when life throws you a curveball and about a life story about myself. So the purpose of my little presentation is to demonstrate how life can sometimes throw you a curveball. Sometimes you have to meet difficult situations in life that ask you to redirect your path and find a way to still be happy and fit mentally to take the challenges. Challenges are open path of our lives and help us to grow and to develop. Now I would like to reveal my challenges, or better said, I will now reveal the curveball life threw at me about 1.5 years ago. In summer 2018, I was diagnosed with lymphoma cancer and had to undergo many treatments, but I'm healthy now again. So therefore, the cope with a difficult situation shortly before the matura, that's the final exams at higher vocational school, and luckily my teachers were really cooperative, and despite my disease, I could take part of my exams. To be more precise, I wrote my scientific paper called in German the Diplomarbeit about a software with my colleagues for the Austrian power grid company, which they use daily. It's a software about the issue indicator that warn you about the issue before they enter and save all devices. And yes, all this happened during my hard times. And additionally, at the same time, I passed my driving license, which was 10 times harder with these conditions, as you can imagine. And yeah, here's another evidence that and this is another evidence that everything is possible when you really want something to achieve in life. So don't give up. And yeah, there are no barriers for me and no barriers for all of us. The biggest mistake you make is to think you have time. There are times for feeling and listening. There are times for singing and playing. There are times for crying and laughing. There are times for loving and being happy. That is what matters. But the sad part of it is that not everyone is even able to listen. Time is precious. So you have only 3 choices in life: give up, give in, or give it all you have got. Learning means making mistakes. With every mistake, you grow, and it's not always easy. There are people with disabilities out there who would like to live a better life but can't. Nevertheless, they do their best every day to focus on the good things in life. A mindset like this can bring people further. Sometimes people need to see life from other perspectives to realize what really matters. For a 19-year-old student, it's not easy to attend classes during all as usual because of the treatments. And you were given this life because you're strong enough to live it. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that the right people around you play a big role, and I'm grateful that I got all support I needed. These difficult periods in life show you who your true friends are, and that's life, but I'm grateful for that as well. Imagine someone tells you that this day is going to be the last on earth. Would you be satisfied what you have done? Sometimes we forget to be grateful because time flies. Things we take for granted could be just a dream for others. My advice is to be grateful for everything in your life. Now, every time I woke up, I start my day with a positive frame of mind. I have reached the conclusion that everything in our lives happens for a reason. Therefore, it is our job to negotiate it properly. Life can knock you down and pick you up again. The message I want to convey is the following: we don't realize how precious life is until something unexpected happens. So be grateful and thank you.
Next slide, please. So hello everybody. Before I start, how much time do we have left?
Officially 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. I'll try to be as fast as possible. So, hello everybody, my name is Papachristou. I'm 19 years old, and I'm currently a student at the SEDU Ungergasse. So, before I continue with my presentation, I would like to ask everybody who has one of these badges, please put them down, so nobody can see them, okay? Put them down. Amazing. You have a badge too? Yes, both. If you have one of these security badges, please put them down as well. There you can hide them as well, it's perfectly fine. Great, because what I want to do is I want to make a social experience with you, if that's fine. So I ask you later, if I choose you, please look at me first, and afterwards I will show you a person, okay? Someone in this room. And I would like you to look at this person and later answer 2 questions, okay? Higher? Oh, sorry, I'm not used to a microphone, so. Okay, great. Hi. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Alex.
Where do you come from, Alex?
Originally?
Yeah.
I'm from Colorado in the United States.
Amazing. So, Alex, I'd like to ask you, do you see this man over there?
Yes, this gentleman?
Yeah, exactly. So, please look at him. Don't look at him right now. Look at me, okay? Later, look at him 5 seconds, okay? And just afterwards, I'll ask you 2 questions about him, okay? Without, you don't know this guy, do you? Do you know her? No, you don't. Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, so please, we'll try to count down together, okay? 5 seconds, okay? Ready? Okay, look at him.
Look at him now.
Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, stop. Amazing. So, what name do you think he has?
Only just American names are coming to mind, and so I'm like, Stephen.
Stephen. Okay. What job do you think Stephen has?
I think Stephen is a teacher.
A teacher. Okay. Let's find out. Hey, Stephen. How are you?
Fine.
So, what's your real name?
Carsten.
Carsten. Okay. Totally wrong. So, and what is your job?
I should become a teacher, but now I'm working at the University of Dortmund Department for Disability and Studies.
Amazing. Wow. I think that deserves a round of applause. Okay, let's try another one. Hi. What's your name?
Dominic.
Dominic. Okay. So, do you see? Okay, who do we pick? Okay, this man over there with the laptop.
Okay.
I don't know if he. Hello. Hi. So, look at him like again 5 seconds. Not yet. Not yet. Look at him 5 seconds, and then I'll ask you 2 questions about him. Okay. Let's count down together again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, don't look at him. So, what name do you think he has?
Jonas.
Jonas. Okay. And do you think that Jonas is afraid of spiders?
No.
No, he isn't. Okay, let's find out then. Oh my God, I'm running. Hello. So, what's your name?
David.
David. Okay, are you afraid of spiders?
As long as they are not dangerous, no.
Okay, amazing, cool. So, again, a round of applause for both of them. Now, everybody, please listen. Take a look to the person on your left. And now to the people on the right.
The same guy.
And now, I would like you to be honest. Honest about how you feel. When you first saw the person on your left or on your right, when you first saw the people on the left and on the right, did you judge these people? Have you already made your mind up? Maybe, maybe not. For instance, like let's take Stefan, okay? Hi, Stefan. I've been in his class for, I think, around 1 year it was. I think we know each other for 1 year, don't we? Yeah, approximately one year. And when I first met Stefan, without even knowing him, or without even hearing his voice, I already made my mind up. I already knew something about him without even talking to him. And later I found out that I was completely wrong. And with that said, we tried to show everyone that everybody has a story. Everybody has something to tell. And even if we don't talk to these people, we already make our minds up. And with that said, I think we should proceed to the next slide, please, because now I want to show you a video.
You can only understand someone after having walked in their shoes.
Does it work? Ah, okay.
It's important to know that life can knock you out in some situations.
Everything in life is a kind of risk.
It's not always easy.
If we do not try, we will never break the barrier of insecurity and fear.
I had cancer and I am now finally recovering. I feel good now.
I have a joyful
I'd like to tell you something about the decision to visit the higher technical college.
People don't even realize what is important for our common life until something unexpected happened.
It was very difficult because I had these cliches in my head and I thought that me as a girl will not get along with the surrounding, the people, the work.
I wish to have a normal life with great education and work, and I try to have conversations on my level.
It wasn't easy, but I saw the real face of some people.
I want to say that the girls shouldn't be affected of people from the surrounding.
Yes, it is not always easy, and no, it is not always fair. I don't know it any differently, and how I know it is good.
So the last question for today is, are you ready to show your face?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Amazing, thank you. So, what we tried to do with this video, we wanted to give people a space where they can share their stories without having the fear of being judged or something. And that's what we did. And I hope everybody enjoyed it. So, Dominic right there told me to end this presentation with a message. And I think the most important message for today is, if you go out there, just be yourself. Tell everyone, this is me, and I'm proud of who I am, because that's the most important thing in life. And share this mindset and share your stories. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a really amazing presentation from the panel. Any questions from the floor or comments? Okay. Oh, yeah, Taha. Can you use the mic, please?
So when will the faces be revealed?
Oh.
All these three people, and I don't know why, but deep inside my head, I feel like I already know two of them. I don't know where that might come from, but they say they would be ready to show their face. Where are their faces? I would have loved to meet them. Even so, too bad I'm probably never going to see any of these three people. How sad.
So I'm a little bit nervous. That's why I basically forgot most of my parts. But I wanted to tell everyone that's just a teaser. And we will publish all 5 episodes probably next week on YouTube. So if you want to see these people and if you want to hear their messages, please go to YouTube, search for Revealed, and you will find them. And I hope you enjoy the videos.
Great. Thank you so much, Stefan. Lucas.
It's okay.
Sorry. Any other questions? Great. Thank you so much. A big round of applause. I get the great pleasure of closing our session today, and I'm really inspired by all of the presentations we've seen this morning and this afternoon from the youth advocates at the Zero Project Conference. For those of you who might not have been here with us from the start, first of all, we started off with a presentation by one of my colleagues from Salzburg Global Seminar, where we talked about social and emotional learning and the importance of that to help build inclusive education systems. We then had a presentation from Marianne and Marijeta, who are both with the European Network on Independent Living, who presented on the work that they're doing with the Freedom March and the global fight for equality around disability rights. The quote that I took away from that was the freedom to be who you are and having that freedom. The march is planned to take place in 2021, so we'll look forward to hearing more about that and joining that movement with Marianne and Marijeta. Then we had a presentation from Konstantinos and Edvina, who are working on the Act Together project with the Learning for Wellbeing Foundation. And they reminded us of the power of children in asking for change and actually listening to and engaging with young people whenever you're making any kind of policy or intervention within an education system. And Edvina, you said that it's really important to face problems together. I thought that was really powerful as a statement. Then we heard from King's Academy in Jordan, Fajer and Rana, who did a skit for us, which really helped to bring to life some of the issues that we're talking about and helped to make us think about education from the perspective of both young people, parents, and people within the community as well, and connecting all of those. They presented on their project, which aims to create awareness of disability and inclusion within the Jordanian community in a really powerful way as well. Then we heard from the ILB, I'm going to use the acronym so I don't say it wrong, from the students at that school who presented on the inclusive model that they have within the school, and also told us about how they have been a pilot project for 20 years. From what we heard today, I think it sounds like an amazing pilot project, and I hope you at least continue to be piloted and hopefully are not in a pilot phase for much longer. We heard about how powerful it is within the school to connect parents, teachers, and students together, and of the want to create a society where everyone is valued and part of the community. And they invited us to come and learn more about their school, or to visit if you're in Vienna and you'd like to go and see the school and meet the students. We then heard from Leon, who joined us remotely, who is with the Leonard Cheshire Foundation in the UK. And Leon presented about the work he's doing with youth to create inclusive education in Kenya. He showed us a really wonderful video of the young people that have been involved in recommending education reform in Kenya. And then we heard, last but not least, from the school's Zentrum Ungagasse on the work that they do in their school, and really beautifully represented by some personal stories from the students. Anna, at the end of her speech, said that we should let us think positive and wait for new doors to open. So I'm really excited to see what doors open as a result of this youth forum at the Zero Project Conference. So in all, I think it's been a really interesting set of presentations from the youth advocates today. I think that has been amazing to actually have young people involved in the conference, and you've all done such a fantastic job of your presentations. So I'd like to get everyone in the room to give a massive round of applause to the youth advocates, please. Thank you.